So this journal that you're seeing right now, I'm telling you right now, I think 50% of this journal is literally just me complaining about the fact that I can't sit down and do my work. Like, I would go back right now and just like show you every single page. Half of this is just me like, what happened today? I just wasted an entire day. What is going on? My focus was so bad. I would wake up, I would get ready for work, right? I'm gonna grind today, I'm gonna lock in or whatnot, right? And then I start doing the work, and all of a sudden I'm like, I feel a little hungry. So like I get up and I take my headphones off, whatever. I go downstairs, just start eating whatever, like whatever. I'm brown, so I eat like, sometimes I eat see curry, I eat that in the morning, or make random oats with protein powder, whatever. I eat that. I don't know why I randomly felt hungry, but boom. And then after I'm done eating, I come back upstairs and I feel a lot more tired. I feel like more distracted. And then you know what? I'm just like, okay, let me just play a YouTube video in the background while I'm working so I can focus. So then I just put another YouTube video. And then, kid you not, most of the day just goes by. I really don't accomplish anything. I really don't get anything done. And I'm just left there regretful. And then I go back to this journal and write it down. This was most of my life for the past 2 years. I'm not gonna lie. The world we live in right now literally makes it's so hard for us to focus. Me and you, we know this better than anyone. Bro, we turn on our laptop, we turn on our computer, and we try to sit down, and we literally have access to the entire world. Literally, the internet, right? And so we can search up anything that we want. We can watch anything that we want. We can listen to anything that we want, pretty much for free, in a click of a second. 50 years ago or 100 years ago, people did not have this problem. I'm sure back then, people were just chilling. They woke up, okay, honey, gone for work. Let's go, get in my car. Yep, okay. Gone to work and just did your work. Like, there was really nothing to distract you except like your friend, like, hey buddy, let's go for some coffee or something like that. I don't know, bro. But like, I'm trying to make up some weird like scenario, but there wasn't really anything for them to be distracted with. Now, for us, there's such a big issue. Literally everything can distract us. Not just that, but the things that they're distracting us with are so stimulating. They're actually like so stimulating that back then, like, people wouldn't believe. Like, this is why we keep distracting ourselves, because the things that are distracting us are so addictive that we need to go back. So whenever our math work gets hard, guess what? Guess where we're gonna go? Yes, you guessed it. We're gonna go watch another YouTube video. People back then, they didn't have access to this much stimulation. Imagine just watching one Mr. Beast video. Like, your mind would go like, because there's so much editing, there's so much like music and boom, boom. It's like your mind is being fed so much dopamine at one time. This is why we literally can't focus on our work. It's almost like our mind is so stimulated that we need these vices to even sit down to do work. Otherwise, our minds have become so like shallow that we can't even focus anymore. Like, we are unable to focus thanks to like TikTok and all that stuff and all that stupid stuff. Here's a fact that I had to learn the hard way. Focus is there all the time. Focus is always there. Your focus is here. My focus is here. Everyone's focus is there. But it's always covered by distractions. So right now, you can either focus on what I'm saying, or you can be distracted by watching TikToks, or by texting your friend, or by going to this website or doing this. So focus is always there. It's just the distractions that are coming up and that are literally making us distracted. The good news is that we don't need to necessarily like learn how to focus, because the focus is always already there. What we need to do is just remove the things on top of the focus, for example, like the distractions, and inshallah, with that, at least focus can come into the picture. Now, we need to always talk about not just having focus in the picture, but how to actually maintain that. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, the first thing I had to learn was that there's a difference between micro and macro focus. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but micro focus is pretty much focus in a very small sense. So let's say, you start to do some work, or let's say this video right now. Let's say you're watching this video, and, micro focus is you focusing on this video in a micro level, and if you were to be distracted, that would be like micro distracted. Pretty much, it's just you're watching this video, but you're scrolling or you're texting a friend. So you're clearly not focused on what I'm saying. There's also something called macro focus. Okay, macro focus is pretty much focus, but on a long-term thing. So for example, let's say you told yourself that you're going to be like a billionaire or like Iman Gaji or like Andrew Tate level fame, like rich or whatever, and then you just changed your course and now you want to be like a school teacher or something like that. For example, my issue with I had issues with both. My issue with macro focus was that I wanted to do this business model, but then I couldn't focus long term because I was impatient and I didn't have any sabr and trust in Allah. So I just switched that, and then I did this business model, and I did this business model, and I did this business model. This is what you call not being patient, pretty much. And micro focus is just me distracting myself while I'm doing my work. But what both of these tell us is that the reality check for all of us is that we're literally all running away from pain. That's literally what we're running away from. The moment that we distract ourselves with this YouTube video, by eating this breakfast randomly, by doing this, by doing that, we're just running away from the reality of our work and the reality of life. When our math test or our math practice questions get hard, then we decide to go on our phone. Oh, let me just take a little break, huh? When the math test gets hard, then we decide to go on our phone. When our work gets a little tiring and we start getting boring, then we start to go on our phone. These are just running away from the actual realities of doing the work and sitting down to do the work. When we're not getting any results from this one business model and we're not making $1 million, we're like, okay, this clearly does not work. But how do you know that? You only did it for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? But this is the big issue that we have. Okay, so this was sort of my routine. This is how I started to focus better. So the first thing was waking up early. Okay, you know what? I'm about to get to this, bro. There's a person in my Discord server. Okay, there's a sister in my Discord server. And this sister, she messaged the chat, she wanted some help from everyone, and she was just like, I'm having trouble with this thing, and I study all night, I can't really wake up for Fajr since I'm always studying all night, and whatever, right? So I messaged back, and I just asked this sister, but why can't you just study in the morning, or why can't you study during the day, and then sleep, and then wake up for Fajr or Tahajjud or whatnot? And then she was just like, but I can't study in the day because I have prayer times and salat times are like, they break the momentum. And I'm just like, okay, so are you telling me that you study for 12 hours a day straight without eating, without taking the bathroom, without taking a shower, that doesn't, like, you know what I mean? And so we have an ummah, a generation of young people that they think of themselves as, I'm a night owl and I wake up all night, like I'm awake all night and I sleep during the day. Bro, you're not a night owl. That is not natural. Stop. Bro, this is gonna get me so pissed. Stop being an idiot. Akhi, ukhti, brother, sister, stop being an idiot. I'm sorry, I had to let it out. You're not a night owl. You're not a night owl. You're not. Just check how nature, like natural human beings are supposed to live biologically. Just think of the time of Adam alayhi salam. Do you think that he would be staying up all night? Let's say like for him, right? He had no distractions. He had no university class. He had no distractions and stuff like that. Of course, alayhi salatu wassalam, right? Now, with Adam alayhi salam and his family and that generation of human beings, would they really sleep or stay up all night? Probably not. They probably just sleep a bit after sunset. They probably wake up a little bit before sunrise or at sunrise. That's just how it's supposed to be. We all know this. I don't need to explain this. And so when people come up to me and say, I'm a night owl. No, you're not. You're just sleep deprived. You just don't want to sleep, bro. We need to really, don't be a night owl. Don't be one of those type of people. Just wake up early. And the moment you wake up early, that's when you have like 2 hours at least, 1 hour at least, free to do your work. And it's been scientifically proven that when you wake up early, your brain is at 100%. Like your brain is the best and the most functioning that it can be when you first wake up in the morning. Okay? Wake up in the morning, live like a regular human being, start your day, preferably tahajjud, but even at fajr, start your day at that. And then carry on. Next, I want to get to is called essentialism. Okay? So this is pretty much a topic where you need to right? Essentialize yourself. I don't know if that's even a word, but pretty much essentialism tells you that you need to focus on the core essentials of life. So for example, for human beings, it's to, survive. It's to pray salah. It's to, eat. It's to sleep. It's to, whatever, right? The essentials of life. There are essentials of life when it comes to our work, right? We often focus on the easy, unimportant things in our work. Like, for example, focusing on question number 3 because it's the easiest one when we know that we have to do question 50, right? It's just like we have to stop focusing on the stuff that doesn't really give us any benefit. It feels like fake work, right? So a lot of us, for example, we would wake up and our actual work would be so hard that we would go downstairs and we start cleaning the house, we start washing the dishes, and we feel so productive, right? We were like, oh wow, like we're washing the dishes this morning. Let's be honest, is washing the dishes going to help you get to your goal at any point in life? Of course, Allahu A'lam, Allah's qadr, but let's just be honest here. Probably not. So, there are a lot of fake works that we do that makes us feel productive that we know that are not really helping us in any regard. So, essentialism is pretty much sacrificing those irrelevant, random things that we do and focusing on the core essentials, core work like seeking knowledge, reading Quran, focusing on this homework and doing the hardest questions from the homework so we can understand and grasp the topic, doing this, going to the gym, the essential things in life. The moment you focus on essential things, then your brain is not bombarded with 20 other things. Because one scientific thing, by the way, scientifically proven, is that whenever our brain is presented with 20 different or 100 different things, it just can't choose. It just goes into I don't know what mode it goes into, but it just doesn't choose. And that's where procrastination also comes from. With essentialism also comes sacrificing the bad habits that are making your brain just get destroyed. We don't often realize that Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube videos, this stuff is literally destroying us. And I wish I had the time to fully go over this, but there is a thing called overstimulation. Most of us are overstimulated. Most of us, our brain is so used to getting high stimulants of dopamine that whenever we sit down to do something simple like work, we just can't do the work because it's too boring for us, right? I wish I can go into this more in this video. I really can't. I do have a productivity course. Check it out, description down below. It's for free, okay? It's for free. So check that out there. But pretty much overstimulation. The more we scroll on TikTok, the more we watch Instagram and stuff like this, the more overstimulated our brain is. Because just think about it. 100 years ago, people didn't really have these kind of distractions to distract them, right? Meaning that their brain wouldn't be seeking that. You know what I mean? If you had this one drug, astaghfirullah, it would be addictive, right? So you would want to do it again. But since people back then didn't really have Instagram or TikTok, they wouldn't be addicted to it, so they wouldn't be seeking it while they're doing their work. They would just do their work because there wasn't really anything to make them go and distract themselves with. So things like Instagram and TikTok, we need to realistically sacrifice it. Now, a lot of us are not going to sacrifice it, right? The next best thing is to, before you start doing your work, before you start doing your deep work, what you need to be doing is you need to throw your phone out the window, or you need to throw it in a different room, or you need to put it in a safe or something, okay? Trust me, there's really no other way. Put your phone in a different room or out of sight or not accessible. Have app blockers, block your apps. Make sure you can't access these apps until your work is finished, okay? So put it in a different room. Until your work is finished, go grab it again and then do whatever you want. Because the next topic is the battery example, okay? The reason why I tell you to not check your phone and remove these habits and remove Instagram and stuff like that before you do your work, because our brain works like a battery, okay? And since our brain works like a battery, it's going to deplete as the day goes on. This has been scientifically proven with willpower. Willpower depletes. Our willpower, our ability to do work and do the right things, depletes as the day goes on. That's why we need to prioritize our work close to the starting of the day, okay? I'll get to my routine later, but we need to prioritize our work close to the starting of the day so we can use our brain's energy. Now, the more decisions that we make every single day, even our clothing, bro, even our clothing, the more decisions we make every single day, the more lower our willpower gets. This is why Mark Zuckerberg wears the same shirt every single day, by the way. He doesn't want to have to think about the clothing. Now, we don't have to go to that extreme, but what I'm trying to say is that we need to limit our options to think, really. We need to be straightforward and do do the work, and get ready for work. So having Instagram and stuff like that is not going to help you. Having Twitter and checking Discord first things first is not going to help you. It's only going to destroy your willpower. Realistically, we just have to be someone that lives like a regular human being. We need to be someone who's not addicted to these social medias. We need to be someone who doesn't need these social medias. We can't be like the average person, okay? And that's the message I push on this channel, which is to be the warrior of Allah, a Muslim who's focused, who's disciplined, who's trying to become the best version of himself, who's trying to not live a mediocre life. That's what I try to do, to help these Muslims to self-improve, to live purpose, to live purposefully, to push themselves, to challenge themselves, to not live in depression, right? And so we need to try to become a Muslim who is locked in, who is disciplined, and who isn't distracted by the pleasures and the distractions that regular people really don't care about life. They're stuck in. The average guy who just lives an average life, who doesn't push to become better, he doesn't have any problem with just sitting and scrolling all day, because he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to have a purposeful life. And yet he's the most saddest and the most depressed that he's ever been, like that average person. It's a pretty sad reality that a lot of us are living in. And so we need to get out of that mediocre life. And if you really want to focus on work, we have to be someone who can focus on work. And that person is someone who doesn't need to sit down and scroll on their phone all day. So we need to become one of those types of people. To end of this video, here's sort of my routine and how I get to my deep work, okay? The Prophet ﷺ says, whoever is concerned with Allah, Allah will place richness in his heart, Allah will bring his affairs together, and the world will inevitably come to him. Subhanallah. Did you hear? Like, this hadith literally says, whoever prioritizes Allah, they wake up, they focus on Allah, Allah will put richness in his heart, Allah will bring his affairs together, and the world, the dunya, will inevitably come to him, even if he doesn't want it. This is proof with this YouTube channel that I'm talking to right now. Literally, this YouTube channel. There's a point in my life where this YouTube channel was just focused on the dunya. I was just trying to make money. I was trying to make this one business from this YouTube channel, and nothing really happened. I didn't even get the money. I didn't even, get the dunya as I was trying to chase. But then when I changed my niyyah and my intention with this YouTube channel, when I wanted to do it for Allah, when I wanted to help other Muslims, somehow the YouTube channel grew, the subscribers grew, the views grew with the qadr of Allah. The same thing with the Sahaba. The Sahaba with the first 23 years, the 23 years of the prophethood, with the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba were struggling. They had poverty, a lot of them. They couldn't eat, a lot of them. They went days with eating very little. They went through wars, through death, through persecution, everything. And then after the Khalifa was established, after the passing of the Prophet ﷺ, a lot of the Sahaba got the dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the dunya with it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them some of the mansions, houses, nice clothes, because they went through that tough. They prioritized Allah, and Allah gifted them the dunya as well. I wake up, I don't check my phone. Again, as I said, willpower, right? I don't check my phone. I don't need to check my phone. I don't need to check Discord. I had this mistake before where I used to check my Discord server first things first. That destroyed my productivity, because every time I work out hard, I would just go check the Discord server, and my willpower went down, my dopamine went down, everything. It just was not pleasant. I've tried this. I've tried eating, and I've tried not eating. In terms of fasting before work and eating before work, honestly, I've always had better benefits when I just didn't eat before work. I had food yesterday morning, and I'm telling you, I literally did not feel focused at all. That's why I didn't really accomplish anything yesterday. Like, I just did not feel focused. I found it that every time I didn't eat, I felt so much more energetic as I'm speaking to you right now. It's better for me to not eat in the morning, because I just feel so much more energetic. When I eat, I feel lazier. Maybe it depends on what I'm eating, but honestly, I don't really eat like unhealthy food. I eat pretty clean. So I just feel a lot more bloated, after I eat in the morning. If you're someone who literally needs to eat in the morning, I would recommend not eating for a week in the morning, testing it out. Okay, don't test it out for 1 or 2 days. Be like, oh, I can't eat. No, test it out for at least a week, and then make the decision. Okay, if you feel like you still need to eat in the morning after a week, then go ahead and go eat your breakfast. That's your benefit. But if you notice that you've become more productive without eating in the morning, then stick to that, right? It would make sense. I mean, the Prophet ﷺ, they didn't really get much food in the first place, really, compared to how much we have now. But even if I had to assume, of course, I have to look at the books of hadith and his seerah more in detail, but I don't think you'd be gifted with food in the morning like the way we eat now. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. We wake up first things first. We need to go hunt for food. Back then, the men were hunters, right? we need to hunt for food. Like, we weren't gifted with food. I feel like whenever we eat food in the morning, it's like we reward ourselves just by waking up. Like, we didn't even work hard for it. That personally has an effect on me because I felt more lazier when I eat in the morning. Okay, in terms of your actual deep work, use time limits. Okay, use time limits. Use like 90-minute time limits or 60-minute time limits or or like max 2-hour time limits. You want to work for a set amount of time, no distractions, nothing really playing in the background. Try your best. You know, even the Quran, like it's just for the Quran, you want to listen to it fully focused while listening to the Quran. You don't want to like do something while listening to the Quran. I'm not going to give a fatwa. I would look into it, you know, if it's allowed or not. But at the end of the day, you know, just try your best to stay as silent as possible while you're working. Don't go watch random music videos. Don't have random tabs open. Have one tab open and just work on that. That's what you get into deep work. And around 15 to 20 minutes while you're working, you just get in the zone. You just start working. You'd forget time even exists. And that's what I recommend. And one really good tip that I want you to understand is that get used to doing nothing. You don't want to just sit down and just you don't want to need to just scroll on TikTok. You don't want to be that person. And there's so many people today that just sit down and they can't sit down in silence. They can't sit down in peace. They just need their phone or they need something playing in the background. This is what you call a dopamine addict, a dopamine addiction. You just live like a regular human being. Just get used to doing nothing. Get used to just letting your brain think and just being like, again, 50 years ago, we didn't need to scroll on TikTok to just survive. You know, like they would just walk around, they would look around, they would like, oh, hi, what's up? Yeah, okay, assalamu alaikum, whatever. This regular life. So the moral of the story is, in order to be productive, live like how humans lived 50, 100 plus years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like in terms of their focus. And also, I would recommend using a routine. So you want to time block your day. You don't want to be working like 24 hours because unless you're really busy. But I would be working time blocks. So like for like 90-minute time block, you know, this morning at this time at 8 o'clock, and then a little break, and then work again, a little break, and work again, you go to the gym, whatever, right? You want to block your day. Like your day should be blocks of different things you're doing throughout the day. That's one thing I really recommend. Following a routine. That's also another big thing. Follow a routine. You don't want to wake up and be like, oh, what do I do today? No, you should be knowing exactly what to do. You should be doing exactly what to do so your nafs doesn't get the better of you. And also, I'm going to leave a few links in the description for some Chrome extensions that you can use. For example, Unhook, IG Plus or something it's called. I'm going to just leave these two extensions. These are just Chrome extensions that you can use to remove the distractions from YouTube. So let's say you need to go YouTube for your work. You know, you need to go to youtube.com or whatever. So you can just use one of these extensions, which will literally block out like YouTube fully. It will make it like blank, so you won't get distracted by it. Same thing with IG Plus. You guessed it, Instagram. I don't know why you want to be going on Instagram anyway, but let's say you have work on your Instagram, then you can use this one extension to block out, again, Instagram. Block out the stories, block out the feeds, whatever. Alright? So this was a long one. Hopefully this helped you. I love you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.